Well, I have to say I'm a little more than just a tad excited about being here in the metal with a car I've been waiting to drive for quite some time. This is Mazda's replacement for the Mazda 6. This is the Mazda 6e. Today I'm here at a very windy Lang Lang test track with the only 6e in Australia. It's been flown in from Germany. It's a German spec car. It's left-hand drive. This is the only place we can test it. And I'm very excited to be one of the first people in Australia to take this car for a test drive because it's not going to be here in production form until the middle of 2026. Now this car I think is absolutely stunning. It's an evolution of Mazda's Kodo design, and unlike the original Mazda 6, it's perhaps a little less Coke bottle shaped and a bit more wedge shaped. At the front here, we've got the gorgeous Mazda grille. This one actually lights up with an LED that's surrounding the outside of the grille. Can't really see it in this light, but it looks really, really cool. It's completely blanked off and today covered in a few dead bugs, unfortunately. Around the side here, we've got 19-inch aero alloys. They look pretty good. Sunroof up on top. It doesn't open, but it does let a lot of light in. The door handles sit flush with the metal. On the side, we've got this nice little black strap here with the Mazda logo on it. And one of my favorite design features, frameless glass on not just the front, but also the back doors, looking very premium. You can see the coupe shape here. It's not really a sedan, it's actually sort of a large hatchback. And around the back here, I really like the rear light cluster design. Again, sort of that Mazda Kodo design here with an LED that stretches all the way across the entire width of the car. This is actually a spoiler that opens up. You can either have it open all the time or keep it closed, or you can have it responding to the conditions. So if you're driving at a particular speed, it will pop open, providing you with a bit of extra downforce. Underneath the big rear opening door here is a cavernous stowage space. Now, the stats for Australia have not yet been confirmed, but this particular European spec car has 466 litres worth of storage space, and you can add to that with the rear seats down. Lots of room. Subwoofer here in the back as well for the Sony sound system inside, which sounds really good. We'll take a look at that in just a minute. Of course, there's no engine underneath the bonnet. It's a frunk, and quite a deep one at that, actually. In fact, you can even open it up down the bottom. If you happen to get water in there, it'll actually drain for you. But buried underneath all of this is, of course, the powertrain. Now, this car's stats are yet to be 100% confirmed by Mazda, but it's looking like it's going to be a 78 kilowatt hour battery, which powers an electric motor, which is going to output 190 kilowatts of power, 0 to 100 in around about 8 seconds or so, charging to 80% in just 15 minutes, which is comparatively pretty quick. In fact, it's about 10 minutes faster than the comparable Polestar 2. And when the battery is fully charged, Mazda say you can expect over 500 kilometers of range. Power goes to the rear wheels only. The interior of the Mazda 6e is wow. I really like this. It feels sporty and it looks great. A terrific mix of materials. We've got this very nice suede here that runs across the entire middle of the dash and onto the doors. Leather with stitching up on top. The seats are suede with leather accents. And it feels like a sporty, really exciting sort of cabin to sit in with this high mounted center console here. Just makes it feel really like you're sitting in the car. You're not on it, but you're in it and you're here to drive. Now look, personally, I do prefer more physical controls, and there's not a lot of them in here. Everything pretty much runs through the center console screen. This is Mazda's first attempt at a system of this style. In the past, all of Mazda's previous systems have been wide screens and they've been sort of mounted a long way from the driver. They don't really want us to use them by touch. In fact, they even turn the touch function off on most of them. This one is completely different. It's designed to be touched. Weird as that sounds. And it actually works really, really well. I haven't had a lot of time to play with it yet, but it is sort of similar to some other systems I've used from some other Chinese manufacturers, and that makes sense because this car was developed with Chang'an Automotive. The only problem with that, of course, is that it does make it a little bit harder to make control adjustments when you're on the move. Like, for example, if you want to adjust the mirrors or the climate control, it's ideal to do all that stuff before you start driving rather than trying to do it while you're driving. But So far, my first impressions of this system are really good. There's also some cute functions like being able to take photos of yourself. It responds to gestures. There's a camera up here pointing at the driver. You can also even take videos of yourself using this system. Wireless Apple CarPlay, of course, and there's a Sony sound system in here with a number of speakers. I'm not sure exactly how many, but there's a subwoofer in the back. Moving down, very sort of narrow slits for the air conditioning vents here, and look, to be honest, they could be a little bigger, especially for Australia. I think they could probably just blow a bit more air onto the driver, but you know, it'll do, I guess. Wireless phone charging, cup holders here. I'm not mad about this sort of metal material. It feels just a little bit cheap and plasticky, but yeah, it looks all right. I can see that kind of getting scratched though. We've got a big center console bin here though, and yeah, quite a bit of storage space in there. And then this being a floating console, of course, we've got more storage space underneath, including a USB-A and USB-C port. Head-up display looks nice and clear, doesn't pass the polarized sunglasses test, unfortunately. Then, unlike the Tesla Model 3, we do have a separate digital instrument cluster in front of the driver, which mimics the look of the center console screen. This is a much better setup, I think, than what you get in a Tesla, where you can only really see your speed by turning your head to the right all the time. Here, you've got it right in front of you, and there's some pretty standard drive controls on this, including maps as well. The steering wheel, leather-wrapped, flat bottom, has a nice sporty feel to it. You've got some handy controls here as well to control this screen, as well as sound system controls and adaptive cruise controls. I really like this steering wheel, actually. And the seats, as I mentioned before, are suede with leather accents. Lots of beautiful stitching here. They're proper sort of sporting buckets. There's full electric adjustment. I imagine that the seats are heated. Yes, they are. And whether they're ventilated or not, I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up. But I imagine they'll spec that in for Australia because, you know, frankly, we need it. Plenty of headroom too, which is great. The back of the Mazda 6e, well, you could say it's potentially a little bit dark back here because, I mean, we've got quite dark privacy glass, but look, you can lighten things up straight away by just opening the beautiful sunshade here on the panoramic sunroof that opens into itself in the middle there, and everything lightens up. I'm 190 centimeters tall and there is plenty of knee room. So you can have tall passengers here in the back and they will be perfectly comfortable. The seats though could be angled up just a little higher for me. There's no thigh support, unfortunately, but all up actually pretty comfortable. Unfortunately, not so great for my head though. I am sort of touching the roof, so probably not ideal for me. Armrest, cup holders. The rear seat passengers also have an additional zone of climate control, and as you just saw before, they can also open up the sunroof, and also the front passenger seat can be moved backward and forward, primarily just so kids can annoy their parents. The only thing that might ruin the harmony back here, especially if you have two kids, is the fact that they will be fighting over just one USB-C port here in the middle. Now, this car is being aimed pretty much squarely at the Tesla Model 3 and Polestar 2. How is it going to compare to those? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's go for a drive. Driving the 6e on the ride and handling track here at Lang Lang, and it feels really good. It is very well composed. It is handling these high-speed corners while staying nice and flat. Being a left-hand drive car, and me not having driven a left-hand drive car for some years, I do find myself just sort of getting a little too close to the edge sometimes. It's funny how it just does change your perception of where you are on the road by sitting on the other side of the car, but you get used to it. The steering is a little bit lifeless in comfort mode. I'd recommend flicking it into sport mode because it really does add a bit of extra weight and a bit of extra feel. So we're just coming up to a section on the track here where there are a few undulating bumps, and these really test out the suspension. And oh, it's unusual you'd be going over bumps at 125 kilometers per hour, admittedly. So it is a little bit rocky, but really, it's fine. It didn't feel like the car was about to fly into the air or anything like that. Now, this car only has one electric motor and it powers the rear wheel. So it's rear wheel drive, which does mean it handles quite differently to a lot of electric SUVs I've driven that have been front wheel drive. There's none of that sort of torque steer kind of feel. You feel more like you're being pushed rather than pulled. Now, this is an exciting moment for me because we're about to go on the big high-speed ring that goes all around Lang Lang. This is where they test cars at high speed, and this is a boyhood dream come true doing this. Currently going at 170, 175. Can we crack 180? 179. We go up to 179. I'm happy with that. I think that's not the fastest I've ever driven, but it's pretty close. I think this car must be speed limited to 180 because it just will not quite get there. But the main thing to notice here, of course, apart from the speed and the control that you can feel, is the lack of noise. It is very quiet. Now, a lot of cars, you drive at this kind of speed and everything would start rattling and shaking and you'd feel things sort of starting to come loose, but that is not the case here at all. It feels very well put together. But I didn't even realize we were getting up to that speed until I just looked down and saw the speedo then and thought, oh my God, we're at 180. I honestly have a bit of a feeling that we're going to start seeing a lot of Mazda 6Es out on the road when they arrive in Australia mid-next year. Mazda have clearly learnt a lot about EVs after the MX-30 disaster, and were very wise to opt to develop the 6E with China's Chang'an Automotive. It is a very impressive package, priced at around about $55,000 or so, they think. Well, we won't find out for sure until mid-next year when the car arrives. I think it's going to give the Tesla Model 3 and Polestar 2 a run for their money.